Christina, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story. First of all, would you mind starting by giving us a brief summary of your motherhood journey?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I feel like it was so long ago because my baby is now turning 5 coming up in December, but nonetheless, it was definitely a journey for sure. Um, I think it was my husband and I got married in 13. So right in 2013, we started trying to have a baby. And shortly after, about a year into the process, I ended up having a miscarriage. So that was in 2014. And at that time, I was, 30? Oh my gosh, late 30s, let's say late 30s. And, just felt the pressure of like needing to, do something. So we ended up going, looking into getting help, of course, IVF and, all the stuff that goes along with it. And we were in for, 3 different cycles. And at the time, not knowing like what that entailed and what that involved, we just knew that it was just a lot of money coming at us at once. And so for us, we just started with, we're going to just try one IVF protocol and just see what's going to happen, and then next thing you know, that didn't work. We tried the next one. That didn't work. We switched doctors, tried the third, and then that was it. At that point, we were just wiped out. And at that point, I think we were almost $100,000 in. And I remember, Jason and I sitting there one night and just tears because we knew that we could not continue on this path to have our baby. And for him, I think it meant that was it. And he had to just be okay with, with him and I. And for me, I didn't know what that meant, but I knew it meant the end of something. And it was a very sad, emotional weekend for both of us. And of course, I started researching because I'm the type of person that's like, I'm not going to give up because I can feel it inside of me that I can have this baby. And I think for my husband, it was the words of the doctor, you have less than 2% chance of ever getting pregnant. And if you, there's other routes, of course, if you want to do a donor and all those things. And so that was it. So I started doing some research and, looking into different options of, acupuncture was one of them. And so in my research, I ended up finding you, Julie, and that's how we met. And that was back in July of 2016.
Wow. I've already been that long.
Yes. So yes, and then kind of fast forward a little bit. Aria is now, she's going to be turning 5 in December. I got pregnant 8 months after meeting you, and had a natural, beautiful baby, easiest delivery. Oh, I don't know. It was an easy delivery. I didn't have any complications. Let's put it that way. And I was 42, so no issues whatsoever.
So you got pregnant at 41 or 42?
I got pregnant at 42.
At 42. And so you got pregnant naturally.
Yep.
Working with me. I remember when you came in and you told me the news, and yes, I remember that. When you came in working with me, did you have an official diagnosis from your fertility doctors, the reproductive endocrinologist or RE?
As far as, what do you mean?
A fertility diagnosis, like did they diagnose you with poor ovarian reserve?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
all that. All that. Whatever that comes with, yes. Poor ovarian reserve, my eggs were bad, like just all of it. Low counts, everything was low,
Did you also have low AMH as well?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, okay, I don't remember. I didn't look at your file. I should have prepared a little bit more, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had kind of the typical kitchen sink diagnosis of someone who was in their early 40s of like diminished ovarian reserve and probably low AMH if memory serves correctly. Okay.
Right, yeah.
So what was the best thing that you did to get pregnant naturally?
Well, of course, meeting you really just changed my mindset. Well, number one, in order to, you know, make the steps to meet you, I had to make a promise to my husband that I wasn't on this path of just trying to get pregnant, that it was going to be something different. And I remember telling him, no, I just want to be healthy. I just want to get my body healthy. And he said, okay, as long as that is what you want to do, then that's fine. And that really was my mindset going in. You know, the last doctor that we had seen in the last IVF procedure that we had done, I remember when she was talking about the eggs, when they had, we retrieved the eggs and they grade them. And I don't remember how it goes. There's like AA and AB and, you know, C and all that stuff. And I remember listening to, you know, how she was grading them. And I think one was like AB or something. And I think it needed to be AA or something to be like a good egg. And so in my mind, when, you know, one of the doctors told me you have less than 2% chance of getting pregnant, and hearing the AB, I knew that I needed to fix something internally, and I didn't know what that was. So meeting you and just kind of getting back on track into health and your recommendations on eating and diet and increasing the good fats, you know, I feel like those were huge things and huge changes in my life.
And so you implemented all of that for, I think you said 8 months, right?
8 months.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's wonderful. What else can you contribute your success to? You talked about the mindset. Can you kind of expand on that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The mindset was huge for me. You know, it was just making sure that it was focused on something else. And that focus for me was just becoming healthy and having a positive outlook on, you know, what was happening around me. So, for example, I remember doing the IVF treatments before, and it was every month you would just feel that letdown. It was just this roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
And I had to change that for me going into, you know, after meeting you, the mindset was now, okay, I'm healthy. Thank God I have a period, because that means you know, I can have a baby.
Yeah.
So it was just that shift of positivity instead of negativity,
Right.
and really just focusing on health for me.
What allowed you to make that shift? Because I think that's really a huge difficulty for a lot of women to pivot from focusing just on the baby to something more generalized, which is the health, which obviously is important to having a healthy baby, but I don't think a lot of women necessarily can would make that shift of taking the attention off the baby and moving to just health, because they don't see the root as direct enough. So what allowed you to be able to do that?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't know what it was that allowed it to happen. I just knew that the cycle that we had been in for the last, you know, couple years was just, it didn't feel good. It was draining, and I just needed a new outlet. I just needed something fresh and positive. And I knew that going back to health and manage, all you have control of is just managing your mind.
Right.
You know, you can't control what's going to happen. And I really felt that in my mind, that if I could just become positive and be around this positive energy and, you know, be happy for those around me that were getting pregnant and having babies, that it was going to come back one way or the other. And if it wasn't meant for me to have a baby naturally, then it would come some way, somehow, somewhere. And I just had to believe in that.
Oh. So you just kind of you probably, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, you kind of hit rock bottom with the fertility treatments. Like you just couldn't go anywhere but up.
Yeah. Yeah. There was no other way. Yeah, exactly.
So at that point, because you kind of were at the bottom, you chose, okay, well, I'm at the bottom, so I'm just going to just really focus on where I want to go and where I want to be, as opposed to just kind of retreading the same thing and doing the same things over and over again. Would that be correct?
Right. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
What was your mental state after getting that positive pregnancy test?
Oh my goodness. Obviously excitement, excitement. There was a little bit of nervousness and, being scared a little bit because of, we had a miscarriage before. Right. But, my husband, he's so great. Another thing that he had taught me, and he had learned this in golf, was never get too high or never get too low. Just have this kind of even keel.
That's what I tell my clients.
Attitude about things. So
I didn't know I could be a golf instructor.
Well, and you totally can. And not only that, but in any type of thing in life, I was selling timeshare, and as you know, that's a hard industry. You have your ups and downs, you have good months, you have bad months, and it's the same thing. Like you just have to just be even keel. And that's how I tried to handle it, okay, just even keel. And then that's when I really turned into, this guided, what am I saying? Guided meditation, and just listening to that daily, so I could have some positivity.
Right.
And
so you had the initial excitement of seeing the positive pregnancy test, right? And then maybe however long, then you kind of maybe had the doubts and a little bit of the anxiety, and then you readjusted and just kind of tried to stay neutral as much as possible with the meditations. Is that how I'm understanding it?
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. Stay neutral and just, continue on the same, path of just healthy and, trying to just know that if this was going to happen, that your body was going to take over, and it was just more powerful than, than anything. So
yeah, that's awesome. So what are the advantages of being an older mom, someone in your 40s?
Oh my, I think I obviously just more patient, man, when I was younger, life is different. I mean, I don't know. I'm definitely more stable now than, I was when I was younger. And just really being in the moment, I feel, with Aria. So, and just, yeah.
Yeah. You're
I can't say that there's more time.
I don't think there's never enough time when the baby comes. Before a baby, it's like, oh, I have all this time in the world. And then a baby comes, like, what happened to all that time in the world?
Is it? Yeah.
Disappeared.
Yeah. Especially now as they get older, they start having friends, and you're trying to do play dates, and it's like, okay, here I am trying to manage our lives, and now I got this little one's life. I've got to manage her, daily calendar, and
you're her assistant.
I'm her assistant for sure.
You're her assistant and chauffeur.
Yes. But I think it's just, being more patient, and I think, when you're older, you understand things a little bit clearer, and, just having that patience to be able to handle her, versus if I was younger, I probably would be just, yelling and screaming, no, don't do that all the time, and just come at her as more of a negative parenting style.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. You have the ability to kind of maintain that distance to do more of the positive parenting, but the neutrality right? Not
Yes.
being able to go into the neutrality as a parent and not taking it so personally, not getting triggered. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So what's a lesson that you learned during that baby journey that you will teach your Aria? Is there one?
Absolutely. Don't give up. I mean, if this is something that, you really want, there's always a way to achieve it. You just have to find the way. And sometimes it's not as obvious or as, obvious as you got, but you just got to find what that is internally for you. And I think we all kind of know, what it is, whether it's, you know, going back to trying to get pregnant, being healthier, or what, can I exercise more? What can I do for my body to get it into that right place for where it's ready? Because, if all you're doing is just obsessing about having this baby and that's all that is consuming your mind, that is not the right state to be in.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, for me, it's just don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Absolutely. For everyone, right? Everyone's entitled to pursue their dreams regardless of what others say. And so that's your birthright, is to go for it. And so thank you. Thank you so much, Christina. Really appreciate you sharing your story. And I know it's going to inspire a lot of women for sure. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.